Hey everyone, how are you? How's everyone doing today? My name is Alan. I'm a spiritual clarity coach. And together with me, we have Dianne Ojar. Welcome, Dianne. So, Dianne will be running the Unleash Your Business Blueprint for 2023 workshop coming up in 2 weeks, February 18th, Saturday, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. So, this is a complimentary event. And I'm sure Deanne will talk a little bit about that. But this is really a great event. Whether you're watching this right now, you are just starting your business, or you're looking to start, or you think about starting, or you already have a business and wanted to take it to another level. It's a 3-hour implementation workshop to really help you to launch your business in 2023. So, Deanne, welcome. Why don't you share a little bit about yourself, and let's kind of dive into some of the exciting things we'll be sharing in that workshop.
Yes, thank you so much, Alan. Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, welcome, and happy Chinese New Year.
It's already over, yes,
Oh,
but
it's still it's a year, Alan. It's a year. It's a year.
but yes,
I
hoping
know.
everyone have a great 2023
Yeah,
so far.
yeah, it's a whole year. We celebrate a whole year, especially since I'm a rabbit. I tell everybody I'm a rabbit because I'm so funny. A rabbit. Oh my goodness, it's a year of the water rabbit. So yes, it's a pleasure to be here. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've gotten together, and
Yes.
we've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. You have been doing a lot. I have been doing a lot. Health wise, relationship wise, business wise, everything wise, and we've come a long way. So I have to say that in 2022, regardless of what happened to everyone, if they did have any experience, from my perspective, I have to say that in spite of everything I've been through, I want to say it was a very blessed year, a
Mm.
challenging one, but a very blessed year. Because I'm going to say this to you, and some may understand or not. At first, I never used to talk about it. I didn't want to give energy to the situation we're in when I got my vaccine. But that actually really, once I embraced it, is why we're sitting here today with so many things happening and getting back to some of the things I love to do, which is hypnotherapy, timeline therapy, the elephant in the room, NLP, and using my designation. Not here to impress anyone, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of work. There was a lot of work went into that too as well. And but just getting my health back on track. For those who don't know, it really was a blessed year, a year that really took a toll on my body, but it's making me stronger. And I must say, and I have to say this, my kidneys and my liver are fine. All the readings, it's up on the two things, which is not, it had me, I was more worried about the liver and the kidneys and the damage it had. But I have to say, with the help of everybody, including you and, you know, everyone, the higher source, the team, heaven's team, it is fine. So that is quite an accomplishment. I am totally grateful for that because that has given me the power and the strength and the juice and the oomph that I need to get me going. This year is going to be so different, and this is why we're here today because we want to now bring this to you. It's the event. Alan and I have been talking this for a long time. We talk about a lot of things to bring to everyone, but I'm saying to you, we're going to be talking about coming in the year. I'm going to be talking about your why, your storytelling, your goal setting, about the unconscious mind, the conscious mind, how it relates to the emotion, the states, like really and truly. And I do, and I have to say this, do have some very unique ways, particularly in goal setting, which most people don't know. It's a different technique. Adam haven't seen that one yet. He's done goal
Mm.
setting with me, but there's a different twist to this because I realize we've all been doing it wrong in the first place. There's no right or wrong. However, there's ways you can do things to get it done a little faster. And Alan,
Mm.
that's something you're going to be sharing. I'm going to be sharing. Alan is going to do the other side of it, But I want to say before we can get to Alan's part of it, we have this part of it. This is the housekeeping. This is home. This is getting yourself ready. This is it's the prep because in your life, in your personal life, your business, how you do one thing is how you do everything. You always hear those words. But I'm saying to you, if you don't get this part right, then you'll be spinning your wheels. And only we can talk more about that, how we're going to be doing this. But there's a lot of things about goal setting that most of us are naive about or really truly do not understand. Even for myself, who's been doing this for a while, it's like every day you discover something. So I wanted to bring that to you because why not? This is why we're here. What we talk about is so much. We are all influencers, and we have to share experience, and it's just I'm so excited to tell the truth about going forward with this because I have been doing it, especially every day, the inductions, the install. And I swear to you that the universe just opened up a portal and just throw in books at me. I've been reading like a sponge. I don't mean reading, okay? I read a book in a day, sometimes 2 days, and I'm not kidding you. I don't have go back to all my hypnosis and hypnotherapy books, which I've accumulated over the years that I did not read. So
Mm.
this is what I'm doing, and I don't believe most of you do know me, but you get to know me over the time as we talk and we meet and we gather. But one thing I would like to say, because I know we're going to shift gears in a minute, don't underestimate the opportunities that come to you. I used to, and I'm sure Alan is as well as that possibly. And when opportunities come to you, where it be information or somebody sharing something, or you see something flash at you on YouTube, I'm not kidding you. I've been there 100 times. I'm looking at something or go to search for something and something pops up. And normally I just ignore it. But that one particular time, I happened to look at it and boom, it was something I was like, okay, you wanted me to see this. I'm not kidding you. And this is what's been happening. So I don't ignore anything or anyone. I look at the great guys. I look at those who, starting business. I look at different levels to see because you never know what you can learn. You never know what you can learn. So that is just my plea to you, my message to you to say, don't dismiss, us. We may look like, may not be the Robins and all those other guys out there. Sorry, Tony. But I do what Tony does, except he's been doing it all the time. So just be open to what we're saying. If you gotta lose, you got nothing to lose. So with that, I will say sorry, Alan. Um, you know how my train of thought goes another way, and I want to say I am so proud of you. You've come a long way. We've all come a long way, and it's time we get going. And congratulations on launching your business.
Yeah, no, thank you, Dianne. And it's interesting when you said about Tony Robbins, and I know that Tony Robbins just recently did I guess a 5 6 day
It
challenge.
was good. It was great,
Yeah, it's
actually.
really, yeah, it's very interesting. And it's actually a really good timing too. When he launched it, and especially we're doing our workshop in February. Is I think statistically they said that most people make a New Year's resolution, right? January 1st, you're like, oh, I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna start this business. I'm gonna read a book a month. But as you know, right, our old habits or pattern kicked in a few weeks in, right? So they say that statistically speaking, about mid-February, right, beginning mid-February on, a lot of people go back to their old habits, right? Like that drive, that momentum kind of fade out, right? So, and that's why you see those that join a gym, right? Gym is probably packed on the first month, but then the second month comes in, people don't go anymore, right? Like they lose that habit. So I think it's really interesting, Deanne, that you'll be sharing some of that mental blockages, the goal setting, right, in the upcoming workshop, and which is so important, right? Like Tony spent like 5 days talking about all that, right? And you embrace the same NLP technologies, the techniques, the methodologies, and it's all about making that shift, right? It's just it's like in our innate in a nature to go back to our old self, right? It's just so easily to fall back, right? I mean, I'm still kind of going over that too. Is that you have this inspiration idea, right? That you want to do something, right? But you come back to the computer, right? Suddenly you get a phone call, you watch this video on Facebook, and then that train of thought dissipate, right? And then you're like, oh, maybe I'll I'll do it another time, or let me put this off, right? So there's old habits, right? That so what do you have to, I guess, given now that you have so much, and first of all, congratulations on going through these programs again. You mentioned something about certification of the NLP, so I think that's very high level
Let me
training.
correct you. Actually, thank you for that. Let me explain that. First of all, we both have a little relationship with Tony. You more than me.
Mm,
um, I believe it was 2000. I'm going to say this wrong. 2010, 11, give or take. I can't remember
yeah.
when he was here for the little annex, and I was actually no, sorry, it was 2008 because I was 9, somewhere around there, because I was sick and I had chronic fatigue syndrome. I didn't even know what the hell that was. My sister had it. I went to see about it. I came back and I had it, and but I didn't know it was about energy. It was about stress. I didn't know
Mm,
that, and I went to see. Well, I went to this event. He just happened to be there,
yeah.
and I used to get very lightheaded. I didn't have the energy, and I remember when he came in and everybody started jumping, jumping, jumping. I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" And the whole building started to shake, and I started to get dizzy, and I had to leave. So I never did hear Tony speak in person. I was there. I didn't even have to
Mm,
pay for the thing. I was there.
yeah.
However, um, the only thing is somehow let's. I mean, this is a perfect example. Somehow there was a blockage. Like
Mm,
actually from that day, I still could not listen to him because I remember the jumping, 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 and the way I was feeling so sick. I was feeling nauseous, sick. And I never listened to him. But one day, many years ago, many years ago, I looked at this book. This is not a Tony event, but I sorry, someone had mentioned about I'm Not Your Guru. It was a movie on. It was the behind the scenes about him and his secrets about NLP and how he does it.
mm,
So I had a better understanding. But I never saw him in person. But when I saw this, and you had told me about this, not knowing that with Dean, I had somehow, flashed in my face on YouTube, and I ended up going, and then you told me about it, and I went, and I actually really enjoyed it, and it just brought back all those things about what I do and how to do the different styling, and it's not anything different. So I understood from the other side, on the quantum side, on the training side, on the state side, I understand what he was doing as well. And that was also helped me. It's like, oh, okay, yes, 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 and just in a different style of it. But you, on the other hand, and by the way, I did apologize to him out and said, I sent it out and you just saying, to Ani, I apologize to you for ignoring you all these years. But he wasn't as I thought he was going to be very snobbish and cocky, but he wasn't.
mm.
He wasn't when I saw that. So I was, oh, okay. He was down to her. No, he was crying and everything. But you have a closer relationship with him, a connection with him to a certain degree when you actually walked.
Yes, I did walk on fire. It was forgot how many years now, maybe like 8 9 years ago, and Tony came to Toronto. So the event, I believe, was five, no, how many, like 2 3 4 thousand people, that was held at the Metro Convention Center. It was like pretty packed, and it was very interesting. It was yes, there was a lot of jumping and state, right. He called it the state change, right, the physiology change, right. um, and yeah, like I did walk on fire, and the whole analogy is, if you are able to walk through fire, you can do anything. But I remember though, it wasn't really the time you walk through the fire, but what was it was actually the buildup, the anticipation, before you walk on fire, right? So because walking on that fire was, is probably maybe a couple of feet, and you walk through it, it probably takes like 20 seconds, right? You just storm through it, right? But it was that build up, right? I still remember, he gave this I guess wisdom teaching and knowledge sharing, and we had to sign a waiver form that if anything were to happen, they're not responsible. So that already kind of put in some fear in you already, right? And then like a few thousand people start walking out, right, to the field behind the Metro Convention Center. We were lining up, right? So there were, when you look out, you see like probably like, I don't know, like 50 lines of fire, right? And then so we had to line up, right? And then as we were lining up, uh, people were just kind of like going through, right? But I was a little bit anxious, as you could
Yeah,
imagine, walking through fire. And I still remember it was about almost my turn, and I was just a little bit of hesitation. And then that person behind me, I guess she was a little bit like, hey, go. So she just kind of tapped me a little bit and said, go. And then I just like went, right? So, and after that, oh, was done, right? So
yeah,
that was it. Like sometimes we needed that little push, that little reminder,
that's
that
correct.
little external, uh, that external little momentum push, right? That motivation to get you to go, right? So that
Yeah,
was kind of like my experience with Tony Robbins in person, and a lot of it after that, the post event, I did learn a lot of things, especially uh, the physiology part. Is that if you feel tired, right, just simply stand up and make a move. He called it a power move, but just really shifting that state, right, and you
that's correct.
instantly feel a bit more energy, right?
Yeah,
uh, and I know, and even like before a presentation or you're doing something that you are a little bit afraid, you would make something like a power move just to anchor in that state. So that's
yeah.
quite, I
Hey,
being honest.
you're way into NLP more than you know, my dear.
I exactly.
You
I
know,
Yeah.
it's um, one of the things is that we have a strategy,
Mm,
and of course, our strategies sometimes, well, most of the time, don't work. Because I'm going to say this to you that, and everyone who's listening, and welcome everyone. We're with Alan and Deanne, and we're on this talk. And like I said, we always go whatever needs to be said is that what we're doing. However, we have strategies and we have patterns. But if you're still here today and you've implemented them, that means it's not working to the degree. Now, some people may be where they want to be, and that's great, but you can build it up. So what happens is that the state drives your behavior. The state are emotions. And this is all about emotions. And you have to take action and you have to change the strategy. You have to change the patterns and break the patterns. One of the things that you had taught, and I just want people to understand is clear. And like I said, this is not to, most people don't, well, almost everybody don't know this because it's not something I talk much about, but I will be soon. I don't have a certification in NLP. I have 4 designations. And one of them is a master practitioner in NLP. The other one is a master practitioner in hypnotherapy. One in timeline therapy is what we're going to be talking about a lot more,
mm,
as well as an NLP coach. The timeline therapy is what the magic happens.
mm.
That the
Very
true
interesting.
magic happens. Because what happens is that we have a past, and Alan, if I you know how to do this, so if I ask you where your past is, that's where the memory is. Just point where your past is, and I'll show you something very quickly. So just point, on your head where your past is. So if I said, a memory from right, a memory from Christmas or a year ago when you're 5 years old, it comes from year the back. So it's myself. And if you're going to think about, like 2020, December 31st, 2023, where you're going to look at as the future, where would you point at? Where would you
2023.
point at for your future if you think of
Oh yeah,
2023?
forward.
Right. And some people, there's no right or wrong. It could be a circle. Most of the time, if we tend to look, because it's a creative mind. You're playing with your mind. So if you look at the timeline could be, this way, this way, this way. It could be this way. But to make it a line, you ask me if it's like this way. There's no right or wrong. This is your imagination. You're playing with creative imagination. So you can extend it. But one of the cool things is because I want to get to what you're going to be doing is when we talk about goals. But before we talk about the goals, to get to the goals, we need to release those emotions about anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt. Limiting decisions
Mm.
is key before you can get the goal set. Because there's something in your timeline. If you have gaps in your past, for me, it's a past. So assume this is your timeline. So this is my past, like a tree, and this is my future. So this is the now. If I have blockages or gaps in my past when you look into your timeline, what is a technique? Or something happened, because I remember there's a lot of things I can remember when I was young. So those are blockages. What
Mm.
happens is that you have blockages in your past, it's going to affect your future. So
Yeah.
it's going to be like skip, 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 skip. It has to be a flow, a line, a flow line. And then obviously, if that's the case in the past, it's going to affect your future. So if you
That's right.
set a goal and there's issues you haven't dealt with, you're not going to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
there's a really cute, very powerful um, install that where we smoothen out and release the blockages and the gaps in the past timeline to make it flow, and then we put your goal into your future. But it's a really, you have to know what to do, you have to be trained in it, and it's really cool. And I'm telling you, I am sitting here, and I was saying to Alan, I have read one book in 8 hours over 2 days. Usually at night time, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm reading. I've started two books the same day, half in one, the other one is bigger. I have all my hypnotherapy books and all these things. These are like my homework. You should see what my bed looks like. And this is just two. And these are things I've had since 10 years ago. And what I'm saying to you, this is where the magic happens. So, because I've been doing that particularly for the week and testing it, and these things are just coming to me at random, this is manifesting and it's giving me the resources and the knowledge. And I'm just punching up. Like I have this urge and energy just to read and learn. Hello, this is not tea. I'm talking about it. So this is what we're going to be talking about. And there is, we have the unconscious mind and this. So we have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And the conscious mind is the goal setter because it's consciously, but the unconscious mind is a goal getter. And
Hmm.
you have to learn this. And soon I'll be sharing this and how the brain works at the pod camp in Toronto coming up on the 25th at 10 o'clock. So it's free for general admission, but I encourage you to come out and learn more as well. But that's what we're going to be talking about that day. And there's more. There's always more in time. And of course, if you want to know more, we can always go further in with more teachings. And it's really cool. And you've experienced some things. And we talk about instant. And I do have the permission because of the designation. This is not the certification, designation by the American Board of NLP and the American Board of Hypnotherapy that I can guarantee results in writing. And who could say that? And people will say that, but I actually can. So this is why I said to you, it's not to impress you, but it's to say to you that this works.
Mm.
This
So
really
can
works.
you maybe walk us through, for those watching this, what are some things that they could learn from you on, during the Unleash Your Business blueprint on February 18th? Like, what are some things that they'll learn, and also what are some possible outcomes that they could get?
Lovely, thank you for that. One of the main things we do, because we talked about goals, and this is one. There's many things we can talk about in all areas of life. You can have a goal not only for business. You can have a goal for personal. You can go for health. You can go for anything. And we do vision board workshops and stuff, and that's down the road. That's not going to happen at this event. I don't believe you'll get to that, but we can probably prep you, but not get to that.
Yeah.
Um, but to do a goal, it has to be smart. And you've heard this before, but I
Mm.
don't believe you take it seriously what it means because somebody said I did a goal, and I said to someone, he said, I have many goals. I said, oh, tell me the goal. And he could not define the goal. If you cannot define the goal in a very particular way, then it's not a goal. So it's a SMART goal. The acronyms SMART is S is for simple, very specific. You have to be very specific. It has to be
Mm.
measurable. You have to measure against something. How would you know that you've achieved your goal when it's completed by the deadline, the date, sorry, the due date, and it has to be achievable. Is this possible to do? Let's just say I want $1 million, and is that achievable? To some, it may. However, you got to take action. Nothing's going to happen unless you make a change and take action. It has to be realistic. You got to be realistic. You got to be real about it. You also have to see, is it ecological? Is this going to hurt you or anybody else in the community? And it has to have a stamp date. So,
Mm.
for example, Alan, I'm going to share it with you. This is one of the secrets. Listen, whoever is on right now, this is priceless. When you're writing a goal, you don't write the goals as if you say, I will. I will
Mm.
always stay there and it will never happen. It would never manifest. But you got to say it now. So
Mm.
you would say, I now I'm sorry, I now by December 31st, 2023, will have successfully achieved what it is you're looking for. It would be, $500,000 or, yearly by having events and so forth. So that's how
Mhm.
you're going to do the goal. It
Mm.
has to be in the now, but the words are very, very, very clear. The unconscious mind does not comprehend futuristic by saying, I,
Right.
and you cannot have a goal from the past. I
Yeah.
had. No,
Yeah.
you can't have something that you don't have expected to
Mm.
manifest.
Yeah. So you're putting yourself in a state of you're in the
Now,
present that
the
you are
present,
already
correct.
experiencing it, right? Yeah.
That is the key to the whole thing about timelines. That is the key. You put yourself in the now. You have to be present. You can't look at the past. The past could help you create what you want for the future, but then you're changing the pattern. So if you say I will and not say, I want to make money, okay, what? The unconscious mind doesn't understand that. The energy doesn't have that conversation. It can't have a conversation with your body and the universe and the manifestation. They're
Mm.
kidding about this. And we planted a timeline. We installed it in a timeline. I've been listening to it almost every night. And it's
Mhm.
amazing. And then you have all these the grandiose dreams and stuff, and you're thinking, "Whoa, what is all this about?" And I am not kidding you. What have happened to me in the past week alone is like I said, a burst of energy, and it's just information. And the more I read, is the more I want to read. For those who know me, hello, this is not me. So
Yeah.
one of the main things I want to share with people, and we would probably do that exercise and put it in a timeline before they get to your session. Why? Because I want them to now be open and clear blockages and to be open minded for when you now come in and say, okay, we've done some of this work internally. What is next? And this is
Yeah.
where you come in to show them. So I'm going to give you the floor now to explain how they could do some of this without saying, no, what I want to do this, I want the money, but they got to get up and do things. Just like we had to do this, and now we're going to have events, and we're going to have to do certain things, speak engagement, writing books. There's so much to do, but there's also a practical way of doing it. And you have to
Yeah.
find out. So I will let you do your thing now. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Diane. No, I think what you said is so critical and so important. And thank you for sharing that
Mhm.
golden nugget of goal setting. And I'm sure that during that event, that workshop, you'll be going in deeper and walking us through. how to set their goals and get us prepared for the rest of 2023. Um, and the next part is once you have that plan out, that success is installed into your timeline, is we're gonna start talking about some of the strategies, right? So including the first thing when I share with some of my students is to really figure out your origin story, right? Your origin story is is really who you are, you know, as a person, as an individual, as your identity, right? And by tuning into your origin story, is I'll give you an example. Is my origin story was I've gone through. I mean, you can have multiple origin story, but I'm simply sharing with you the origin story on why I met Dianne and we connected with spiritual healers or heart center entrepreneurs such as yourself watching this right now, is because I've gone through um, a very confrontational relationship breakup, right? It was that experience, right, which I'll share a little bit more about a story in the upcoming event. But it was because of that experience that opened up doors for me. That really allowed me to shift my perspective, my focus, and allow myself to go into a place of deep healing. And my heart was open to spirituality, right? And through that process, not only did I learn how to heal from some of those emotions, those negative emotions that have been overwhelming, but at the same time, open up my heart to focus on serving a specific market, right? So that's where, because of my experience, my story, my origin story, connected me to a niche market, right? The niche market is is who you want to serve best, right? And when you connect with your niche market, it is all about sharing stories, right? Being connected to the story. The is quite interesting was when I, with my first couple of one-on-one clients that I've been working with, I got them on a Zoom call. Um, I share my story with them, and uh, is I realized afterwards that those two ladies that first, became my one-on-one clients, they all had a relationship breakup, right? And they're also healers too, right? So all of you right now watching this, it doesn't matter what healing modalities you're in, right? I mean, it is important that you're able to deliver, right, that transformation to your client. But if you have a gift, a healing modalities, a healing medicine inside of you, you will find your niche market. You will find those that resonate with you. So we're gonna go deeper into the approach, into the methods, right? Including once you have an origin story, I'll share with you a little bit about how to structure a funnel system, a simple website that you can put together your story and giving something away, right? Of value, a small transformation in exchange for an email address, right? Just like how simply just put it out there, be transparent, is we're running the event and it's a free event, right? It's a 3 hour jam-packed value-driven event. But to be transparent is, yeah, we are collecting email address, and that is one of our lead magnet, right? To build trust, right? To know, like, and trust with you. So perhaps we could do business together in the future, right? And this is this is the way to go. Like, if you want to, you can also imagine yourself doing the exact same thing of providing high impact, value driven event, your program, of giving away something for free, to the marketplace, right? Because we will be giving a lot of value during that event, and you are going to learn a lot, for exchange of an email address so that you can follow up, right? And that's how commerce are done online. It's really an exchange of value, right? For the next step, right? It's all about asking what the next steps are, right? So you should be asking yourself right now is, what is your origin story? who am I serving, and then what kind of value, whether it's a piece of content, whether it's an event that you want to do, so that your ideal market resonate with you and come into your funnel to build that know, like, and trust. So we're gonna go deeper into that methodology, and the structure, so that you can go from confused, right? A lot of healers I speak to is they don't know how to get started, into systematically going through a process, right? Have, with clarity, right? The moment that you know who you're serving, you know where to look out for them, right? Facebook group is one of the best places to find your ideal clients, right? If you're somebody that gone through a traumatic experience, right? Then you can find others that are in the same shoe as you, because you've gone through your transformation. You can offer the same value and transformation journey with them, right? So we'll go into more detail in that. We'll kind of save the best for for the event. So that's really kind of like a summary, right? Is from and that's actually how I got my first few clients as well. Is actually through Facebook groups, right? From a content into interest, and you getting them to a call, right? And sharing your story, and then setting them up as a client, right? It's a simple method, but it is a succinct way of doing it, and I'll be sharing more detail in that on that upcoming workshop on February 18th. So Dianne, I mean, I'm sure you'll be sharing so much golden nugget as well with with the audience on February 18th, and this is a great way for us to, right, for us to give value back to the market, right? And again, like, we bring transparent. Yes, if there is a match and alignment, we would love to work together and explore other ways, right? Like Dianne is amazing at what she does and helping client breakthrough, right? Because without that breakthrough in the mental psychology, even if I give you the roadmap, you're not going to do it, right? There's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be limitations and doubts, right? Self doubt, right? Fear, worthiness. There's so much stuff that we can dive talk about. But we'll save that for the event, and yeah, I'll pass that back to you, Deanne. Where maybe you can share a little bit about um, what I just shared, or something about how they can really benefit from what we'll be sharing on the 18th, to help them put together a roadmap, a plan, so that they can
Absolutely.
really pay this success in 2023.
Absolutely. Thank you. And when he was very modest, he didn't tell you what his background was. He is a business owner. I mean, he also has a job, but he's been working clients. He also teaches and mentors at Seneca College. He left all those parts out. And it's not to say he is not qualified. He is qualified. He's been doing, he used to own his own digital marketing, correct? Correct me if I'm
Yes.
wrong.
Yeah. Hmm.
Business, right? As well. So one of the things I want to say there is, we're always learning. And one thing I would say to you is you got to show up. What do you have to lose? Like, really and truly, what do you have to lose? We're on information overload, and we can give you, and believe me, there's lots of challenges and so forth. I had a challenge again, about writing a story. If I week and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this at info night, and who choose to, because it's a lot of work. It was going to end up being in like an event, at the final note, submitting your storytelling, your why. If you don't know your why, then you don't know why. I'm just going to say something on a personal note. My father was a business owner, started from like when he was teaching in school as a woodwork, and my mom, what she was a housewife. Anyway, long story short, in the early 80s, I don't know how old he was then. I was probably about 18, 19. We had a furniture factory at the back of our house. We could see it. And my dad had a stroke, and they sabotage you and they bring it down. And you could stand up on the back of our house and you can see because the house was not there wasn't much land. It was just the house was the shape of the land, and
Mm.
you could stand up there near the back porch and you could see the building burning. It burned for a week. It was all wood and varnish and so forth. It's a built school furniture. And they built it up and they burned it again and so forth. And I remember being there, seeing it with him. And he was in an accident in 72 and he died in 92, 20 years after the accident. I was in pain, being diabetic, insulin. But here's what I want to say. He died at the age of 61. And it made me realize that, he worked hard. He didn't get to enjoy. My daughter was like 4.5, just getting to know him. I was on vacation there to see if my mother would pass away. I tell you this for a reason. As a business person, it's not easy, especially in those days. Now we have it's a little bit easier now than when you had to, from scratch. When you think of all the artists like Diana Ross and Ray Charles, what they had to go through. We have opportunities. They didn't have the opportunities the way we have it now, but yet we don't. We ignore it. And I'm going to say this in my story, I do not want to be the one at the age of 61 to not be here and pass and to continue to be that hero and to share my story. And you look at that, and I know a lot of people when they get closer to their parents' age when they pass, sometimes when they're very young, it bothers them because they're worried about that. So we have the opportunity to do something, to carry on that. I was like 10 years old when I used to help my father in his business, my father's secretary. And I'm saying to you, it is a legacy. None of my family, it's they're in business, right? But for some reason, I'm here for a reason. And you may want to resonate with that story or not. So I'm saying to you is be the hero. There are many people who didn't get the opportunity in their family to do something. And you, the one who is lives outside the box, take the risk, sacrifice. So what is your story? And that's getting personal, and I don't typically share that. But it's a story. Remember him having a stroke, being diabetic, type 1 diabetes on insulin. And the day he died, I saw him driving. And I saw him driving one way and I was driving the other way. And he died that night. And we were talking about the diabetes, but I never could remember if I ever asked him how he got it. It was in the 20s. So all my life, I knew him being type 1 diabetic. I say this to you. Why? Don't let and he didn't tell anyone he was having heart attacks and stuff. Don't let anything bring you down. Recovering from my health issues, which happened as a side effect, made me stronger and stronger. So we all have a story. We're going to over the next little while. If you choose to be with us, fine. If not, that's okay. I know Alan and I will be doing it in terms of crafting our story, understanding how to implement that. It's not just about telling a story, it's how you tell the story, when you tell the story, and it's more to that. So your why is really important. Having a why is important and strong. But why do you have the why behind the why? Because Alan knows I always say, and why is that? Why is that? Why is that? So we have to go, and I've had many clients who say, oh, I didn't know why I went there. How did I get there? Because they never go to the root cause. That's the difference. So that is my why, and it seems like it's getting stronger and stronger to share it. I'm more comfortable sharing it. But I'm saying to you, I am going to be the hero in that story. And where I could say, you know what, the pictures are right over there. And say, yeah, I'm still here. So, sorry, Alan.
Yeah, no, that's a powerful story, and I definitely believe that each of our story is really the best tool to penetrate somebody's heart, right? Like so you can take the most latest platform or uh, because social media is ever growing, right? And because really at the end of the day, the fundamental, the foundation is all about storytelling and knowing your why, right? Once you figure these two pieces out, then you can really adapt to the content for the platform. So yeah, maybe I'm sure we gave a lot in this session, and
Yes, we
we're
did.
gonna save some of the best for
Yes,
the February 18th
absolutely.
event. So maybe we can post a link as to how people
Yeah,
can register for that event. It's gonna be
we
exciting.
can. We can. Of course, you can't link from this link, but if you go into the the post on the different platforms, you will see the link there, or just reach out to us.
Yeah. So
Explain
just
to them, explain
bit
what this thing
dot
goes.
yeah. So just bit.ly/business blueprint 2023. So yeah, so I'm very excited. I'm excited to be able to share, my segment with the audience, and I'm sure Deanne is gonna really help a lot of people, you know, refine tune their goals and for the rest of 2023. So, are there any last piece of wisdoms, knowledge
Yeah.
you want to share?
So when they click on this island, it takes them to a different page, and that's where you're going to sign up, and that's where you're going
Yes,
to get the Zoom link that we'll
yes,
be sharing the Zoom link, which
awesome,
we will be broadcasting most likely simultaneously on another page, on a
awesome.
Facebook page, so we can have that to the Breakthrough Challenge, this Facebook page there. And it's a
Mhm.
new page we created there as well. So we're going to be hosting many of the challenges there and simultaneously broadcast it to the Facebook page here. It's going to be there for a short term, a while, and that's what you're going to do. And I'm just saying, listen, guys, you may have heard me singing this song, you may have heard Alan singing this song, but you know what? What is your song? And we'll do the best. If it's not for you, great. If it's somebody else you know can help, awesome. Share it. You never know whose life you can change. Alan has done that many times to me. Say, hey, check this link out. Check this link out. And you know what? I did. And I did get value from it. And I got inspiration from it. And I'm saying to you, you don't know whose life you're going to change. You really don't know. Because I know many years ago when I wrote my book, it was a repeat effect that I ended up with Kim. And I just wanted to know who I was, who I am, and where I was going. That's all I want to know. It cost me a lot of money. And I invested in myself. And I've been buying books like crazy. Not like I don't have enough. That's investment. Even a book, a seminar, at $30, at $49. I am telling you, all these things, even for Canva, a simple $27 or $47 changed my life completely. I cannot even begin to express that. So you don't know who this is for, but don't judge. Don't judge us. Don't judge anyone else unless you yourself experience it. And I guarantee you, we get in real time transformational clarity, alignment, experiential, all those types of breakthroughs. So on that note, Alan, that's it for me. I'm not sure if I missed anything, and if I don't, send me a message. And if you want to connect with any one of us, um, in the meantime, this is our emails. It's myself at info@theexperientialcoach.com, and Alan Owen is claritybreakthroughcoaching@gmail.com. So reach out to us if you have any, burning question, put a comment there, and I look forward to seeing you, and invite a friend or two. You might be very surprised, even if it's for just to know how to put something in your timeline for the goal setting. It's worth its weight. Even to understand how, you know, how a simple landing page is what Alan will show you. That the thing, how to get emails or how to put out a message without having a website that's very affordable. It's going to worth your weight in your time because you're not paying anything for it. It's value to us. It's value, trust me. We probably undervalue it as well. but it's complimentary for you. So on that note, I want to say thank you all. Alan, any closing?
Yeah, just want to say, Deanna, I look forward to seeing you on February 18th, and we're gonna definitely give a lot of value, and you'll definitely walk away from that event learning something and implementing something to help you with the rest of your 2023. So with that said, please join us at bit.ly/business, uh, sorry, business blueprint
You can
2023.
click on the link, okay? Please put it
Click the
in.
link below. There you go.
Link below, side, back, front,
Yeah.
wherever you see it, just click the link. So I want to thank you all so much. And again, this is Alan and Dianne saying
See you, everyone.
it is a pleasure being here today. And I really look forward to it. Take care.
Yes.